This may well be the last in this current series of fucking of my like assassination of Netflix. um, but it's maybe why it's not something I've been in a rush to put back on again. See, he has been standing too closely. I think he might think he's hungry. He's just eaten. But he does this. Like he was just sitting right too close, but not asking for anything. And I thought, I bet you, as soon as I start, he'll come over and interrupt, and he does. He walks around in circles. Um, but yeah, maybe that's why there was that reluctance, because it did become like a drug. I think it did really become like a drug in a lot of ways. Um, and I think again it was one that the sort of cynical head was like, "Oh, look at you, fucking! That's all you fucking do with your life. Sit and fucking exist in front of fucking Netflix all the time." You know what I mean? But I think I also got quite cynical as well because I think I saw a lot of other people doing that, and like I would wonder how many people are actually just as fucking drugged up on it as I was, and just as unfucking happy. But I don't know. They don't act out like I do, so I think it's like a good way of measuring how fucked up you are is like how many psychiatrists are there in your life? How long have you been a patient of that psychiatrist? Is like probably a good way to tell. um, so yeah, um, but yeah, it was always a significant thing because it happened at a sort of fairly significant time, almost like a block lookable window. A portion of something that you can identify and take a look at. Block lookable. I could see it in my head. I just didn't know how to describe it. Um, but yeah, it it was a sort of a definitive period, shall we say? Something what happened. Something what happened. Um, and I was like instantly transformed by it, and my mind was I was very toxic about myself. It was like some horrible shit I was going through and due to go through at the time. Uh, so it's little wonder that it did become such a fucking coping strategy just so fucking quickly. Um, and 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 I may have had something else to say about that situation. Um, no, I said this would be the last of the series. Um, oh, that's what I was going to say about it. I do know, but the other thing I was going to say about it is, you know, in the stark contrast of the two sort of periods, now and then, there was a lot more that I had about me in my life. That's what I was commenting on, wasn't it? That I had a lot more activity in my mind, a lot more curiosity, a lot more things that I would just naturally do. And I was just way more comfortable with being alone. Because you see, then I at least had and now I don't. And you know, I had something of a, and I had and there's a lot of blanks in a lot of areas where there were things, where there were title holders. And you know, all of that forms something of a, and so when you haven't got a, you notice it. And yeah, I think that's why my sort of my little things that I would just like having around me that would stop me from getting bored, um, I became bored of, but then kept doing as well, but wasn't getting any pleasure from them. Wasn't really. Like the guitar, it was definitely 2017. 2017, throughout the first few months of it, I picked up an old electric that I'd not been playing for a while, and uh, I started switching the guitars that I played, and that was a 9 hour-a-thon as well. That was when my fingers bled. Um, but I just started playing it a lot more openly. I started singing a lot more loudly. I didn't care if people could hear me, and I was like, I've only very, very gradually got better at singing. I've always been like pretty fucking ropey, to be honest. I can sound alright sometimes, but I can also sound very fucking rough around the fucking edges and more. But I started to come out and blossom more with my singing around that time. Um, and that's when the guitar more came into its own as an expression of myself and a way that I was communicating shit that was in my heart by singing it loudly, rather than just sort of a bit of a hobby or something I thought was quite cool and I liked, or I used to get really fucking frustrated with when I would always be trying to do complicated strumming patterns and getting them wrong, and I'd end up fucking beating the strings and all that sort of shit. Whereas then, like 2017, when I was in a very weird blossoming stage, but that's when the guitar changed. Um, but like around that time, no Netflix, hardly at all. Like I said, that new season of Black Mirror, I can't remember exactly when it was, but I remember that was like I had to log on and wake it all up back for that, and I watched the one season one night. It was like only 4 or 5 episodes, and I watched it in one night, and I thought that was that then. And then I think I maybe switched it on the next day and didn't watch it again. Um, and it had always that had been it. Netflix had always been a significant period that had come to an end, and had a lot of just around that year or so, whatever it was, there were a lot of fucked up situations involving a few different people. But they really fucking tugged at my heartstrings and tugged at my fucking headstrings, and made me really fucking despair about myself and fucking hate myself a lot and feel really fucking unworthy and inferior and bullshitty and all of that. And it was just I was keeping it to myself. I was keeping it to myself and just like you know showing you all how fucking cool I was. And it didn't work. It didn't work because he didn't think I was cool. I was still alone, um, watching Netflix. But yeah, it's like at least when I'm watching it now, I'm watching it knowing that I'm gonna be just escaping for a while. And if it worked like it did today, it worked. And I was actually like, yeah, for a period of the day where it can be quite, like late afternoon, 3, 4, it's got dark, but so it feels loads later than it is. And then so that makes things more boring when you're unoccupied because it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Um, and it's actually quite mad how many hours I have sat here in total silence. Like sometimes I'm playing with my guitar, sometimes I'm DJing. Very occasionally I'm on the phone. Haven't had many phone chats in here though. Um, Caught up with my mate the other night. That was a 2.5 hour fucking proper waffle. But other than that, I can't even remember. I think most of my phone calls have been like to insurance companies or like whatever official shit. Um, yeah, pretty much hospital appointments and fucking checkups and that sort of shit. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna like probably draw these thoughts to a close on Netflix and go and watch some Netflix. I'm gonna rewind that episode that I tuned out of. It was quite weird. They're all quite weird. Um, I think that yeah, just finally, that was one of the points. Is every episode that I've watched has been very, very virtual, about the toxicity of the virtual world, and social sort of networking is featured heavily in all of them. And it's like, Netflix and social networking was like largely my window to the world throughout that very sort of insidiously toxic time that was tinged with like success and growth and knowledge and future hopes. And wow, it's a quite a strange juxtaposition, because it feels like 6 months ago, mate. It feels like 6 months ago, and I think it was fucking 5 years. It literally, this year has actually felt like about 5 months. I think literally about 5 months. It's like it's the whole fucking year. What? It's just not fair. It's not fair. It's like I'm doing so much more nothing, and time's going so much faster. That's what I feel about all this potential that's going nowhere, that I feel sad about, because I'm here and happy to share, but I kind of can't. And I just feel it's like nothing's landing, nothing's going anywhere, nothing's doing anything. Um, but there are still rungs of the ladder for me to hop, skippity, jumpity, upon it, and I will do. I will do. Um, with my Netflix use down to a manageable amount, and not use it like drugs. Hopefully, I'll watch about half an episode and get bored, and then is it bedtime yet? I don't know. Oh yeah, definitely. It's like it's 10:15, Mikey. I need to have my cocoa and go to bed, because then I can just shut the door on the day and go, well, that's another day done, and I'm happy. I've talked about some shit that I find interesting, at least. I felt quite friendly today in my videos. I felt quite like I've just been chatting to my friends. And I kind of have been, in a way, and thank you if you've watched any of them. And I still like you a lot. And I love you.